What is up? Welcome back to the channel again for another update to the John Cena collection. I know this isn't everybody's favorite videos and it's not, the ones that get me the most views and stuff like that, but I'm still chugging along through this, trying to see what I can do from a 2025 standpoint and how many I can get through the year. So bear with me. I know it's not everybody's favorite and a ton of people don't watch them and stuff, but like I said, I wanted to kind of document my collection so I can, have proof and different things of what I have if anything were to happen, knock on wood, heaven forbid. But so that's one reason. I've also had fun myself personally, kind of documenting these and getting all the John Cenas and stuff. And, I have them displayed in the order that I've talked about them on these videos since the very first one all the way through. So I've definitely had some fun doing it. So these videos are for me probably more than they are for the audience, but we're going to keep cranking through. I got another 6 new ones today. We're going to talk about them. I'll get them added to my shelf. So without further ado, let's get started. This set is basic heavy for sure. It's pretty much all basics and a couple weird ones in there, but we'll start with one of the most modern, like brand spanking new. So this is brand spanking new, basically on shelves now, or about to be hitting shelves. I got this from Amazon, which is why I haven't seen this in a Walmart or a Target or anything around me yet, but I did pre-order this on Amazon and I got it pretty quick. I've had it for a couple weeks now, actually. But this is the main event showdown. So it's a 2-pack. That's what the main event, showdown obviously would mean there's a 2-pack, but it is the main event showdown series 23, John Cena, when he faces off or he's packaged with the final boss, Rock. So he comes with a basic Rock, with the Rock wearing his final boss gear, and then this is the John Cena that you get in that 2-pack. He's pretty similar to some of the other more modern basics we've seen and talked about on these videos. So he's still got the kind of longer old man looking hair, and then he's got his blue and orange bicep band. I don't even know what that's called, I guess, but then the blue and orange wristbands there. So nothing too crazy, pretty basic figure, like I said. Probably one of his most modern figures at this point. I think there might be a couple elites that are a little bit newer, but this one is definitely a very modern John Cena. Like I said, this is a basic, so he doesn't have the chest or the ab crunch. So pretty basic legs and all that jazz. But yeah, that is the main event showdown series 23 John Cena. Next up, we got a little bit of a weird one. I've been hunting for this one since I basically started this challenge. I think these figures are so cool. This is the basic zombie John Cena. So this is the basic zombie series 1. I believe they may have only had one series of zombies. I'm not positive on that, but this goes right along with that mutant silver one I showed in an earlier video. But this is the zombie version of that. They also had a monsters line of they had mutants, they had zombies, and I believe then they had monsters as well, but I don't think John Cena was in the monsters line. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was just in the mutants and the zombie line. But yeah, there he is. It's a basic figure, so basic articulation, just like any basic would have. But then obviously he's painted in that green, kind of like a puke green color. And you can see he's got all the wounds and stuff. So you can see he has the wristbands on still, but his arm is like ripped open essentially. He's got the chest, where his heart would be. That's kind of coming ripped open. He's got like a chunk missing from his head. There you go. Focus there. Chunk missing from his head there. But yeah, I've been looking for this one for a long time. This is one of the ones I would search, on a weekly basis, if not more. And I could just never find one that I felt comfortable buying. There's a ton of them loose that you could find pretty easily to get a loose one. But it was hard to tell how good a shape he was in, especially with like the wounds and stuff. It makes it harder to see like what condition he's in. His hand is like really skeleton-esque there. So you can see like a regular hand and then very skeleton, Like he's losing a lot of flesh there. That's kind of cool. But so you can find them loose, pretty much a dime a dozen. The harder one is to find a mint on card one, because these gimmick lines obviously were more for kids than collectors. So you didn't have a ton of collectors out there buying them up and, you know, holding them to resell for value and different things like that. It was mainly kids buying them and opening them. But I did eventually find a price that I thought was a good price for a mint on card one. So I did open this. So I know he's as mint as he's going to be from the factory. But it took me a while to track one down. A lot of them, you know, it's just a basic figure, and it's a one-off type of John Cena. Like, they don't have any other ones like it. So I can see why some people are asking a little bit more for it. I don't know that it's worth that. We kind of talked about it with the Make-A-Wish John Cena, where people think like, oh, this is the only zombie John Cena, blah, blah, blah. So they try to price it up a little bit. But I would say it's worth that $20 to $25 range, in my opinion, especially mint on card. Loose, I mean, you could get away with cheaper depending, but yeah, I think I paid $19.99 or so for it. I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't any more than that $20 to $25 range, like I said. But when you find mint on cards one, there's definitely people out there that will ask for a little bit more than that for sure. So I would say just be careful if you're looking for the zombie John Cena. And if you're fine with it, I would just buy loose, honestly. But that's just my opinion. So cool one to have. I really like that zombie line. The mutants, the zombies, and the monsters, those are all a line of figures that I'd like to collect the whole line at some point. I think it would be cool to have them all, but it just never been in the cards. And some of them are kind of expensive and harder to find, like I just explained with the John Cena. So there's definitely some other ones too that are similar to him, where it's not as easy to find something mint on card and whatnot. But yeah, let's keep rolling here. The next one we have is, oh, this is another one that was difficult for me to find. So this is a new set of figures that we haven't talked about yet. These started to come out, I want to say they started in 2019, which is the year that this figure's from. This is a 2019 figure, but they call them Reckon. So these are the Reckon figures. This is the Reckon John Cena. Reckon is kind of what they named their kids line, if you will. And they've gotten away from doing as many figures. The gimmick was obviously the motion, so he has a motion feature here to it. But the Reckon is more popular with like the vehicles and the rings and the play sets from that regard. So they've done a lot more play sets than they've done figures for the Reckon line in more recent years. So like the Reckon line has like four-wheelers, motorcycles. It has the car. The Rey Mysterio came with like a lowrider in tribute to Eddie Guerrero. I think there's a monster truck that came with Stone Cold. So there's a few different Reckon things, but they do them more for play sets. And a lot of times with those play sets, you'll get figures, I suppose. But back when they first came out, they started with just figures. Or, well, you know, they had a line of figures that were called Reckon, and they were this motion, you know, activated thing, or whatever was the gimmick to them. So this is the 2019 Reckon John Cena. So essentially the Series 1 Reckon John Cena. They didn't call him Series 1, Series 2, things like that. But this is the 2019 Reckon John Cena. Now, this one was difficult because essentially the same figure came out in the, I believe it was the 2020 Reckon line. And it's basically, like I said, it's virtually the same figure as far as I can tell. The only thing I saw that was different was the packaging. So the 2019 packaging to the 2020 packaging, they changed it up a little bit. But everything else I can see from pictures online, they're the same figure. Once I do get that 2020 Reckon, we'll have them here at the table and we can maybe compare a little bit. But as far as I know, they're the same figure. Well, that's kind of cool. I didn't actually notice this when I opened it. I did find this on eBay new when I opened it, but he has articulation at his fingers there, so he can open his fingers to grab something. That's something that a lot of basics and elites, I don't know that any actually basic or elites have that feature. Obviously, like I already showed you, he has the action feature. So he's a basic figure from the waist down, and then from the torso up is where he's got those action features. So he looks kind of like an elite because it looks like he has an ab crunch there, but that's just for the action feature. It's not actually like a, I can't crunch him at the abs like you can in Elite. So, but yeah, for whatever reason, this 2019 one is tough to find with that specific packaging. So, mint on card collecting, you would definitely need to have this one and the 2020 because the cards are different or the packaging is different. I don't know that for this collection I needed to have both, but just for my purposes, I put both on the list in case they were different for whatever reason. I don't believe they are, but like I said, we'll see that when we get to it. But yes, I did find this on eBay. I probably paid a little bit more than I should have for this one. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was probably like, I want to say it was $49.99 actually, which like I said is probably a little much. But I've been looking for this one for a while because I'm getting very close to finishing the 2019 year, or the run of 2019 figures for John Cena. So I was down to 2. So spoiler alert, I only have 1 left that I need for the year 2019. And then, so that one that I'm still missing and this one were the only 2 I needed. So I was trying to find these 2019s to finish that year off. And this one proved to be difficult. So as soon as I saw one pop up, I snatched it up. I didn't even try to, I don't know, wait or negotiate or anything to that effect. So I did pay probably a little bit more than I should have in that regard. But glad to have it in my collection. Glad that I can say I have the 2019. I did open it myself, so I know for sure that that's what it is. But yes, that one was a pain in the rear. I'm glad I had a saved search on eBay for a while. Finally popped up one and was able to snatch it up. So very excited about that. One that I didn't expect to be difficult, but was. So glad to have more of a challenging one knocked off the list. Next up, we're back to just some regular basic figures. This is Basic Series 15. So this was Superstar 15 at the time, Basic Series 15, whatever you want to call it. Back then they would number them. So like now you can just go to the store and you have a basic figure. There's no, and it's like Series 150 or whatever. Back then, you know, it was part of Series 15, and then that figure was figure 15 or whatever. It didn't make sense because by the time Series 15 came out, there was well over 15 basics. So I don't really understand why they did that. But yeah, Basic Series 15, figure number 15, or Superstar number 15, whatever you want to call it, John Cena. He's got the red, you know, wristbands and the red C Nation bicep band. The funny thing about this one is I've had this figure since I was in high school. I don't know, younger, I mean high school, or, you know, job age, 17, 18, something like that, where I was making my own money and I could buy my own figures. So this figure is from an era where I first started collecting figures, and at that point, I only had a handful. So I was trying to keep on mint on card, you know, value, things like that. A lot of people always talk about how I open all my figures, or I have them all loose. I love mint on card, and I would love to keep every single figure I have mint on card. I just don't have the space. So if you think about, like, on this shelf back here, just in the Hasbros, you know, there's probably, I don't know, 30 figures or something on that one shelf. Think about if all 30 of those were on card. That's a lot of space. And there's no way all 30 would fit on that shelf, especially if I wanted to try to see them all. So that's why all my figures are open. You know, I would love to keep them all mint on card. I just don't have the space. And so this I had bought, and it was mint on card this whole time. I have all of those figures. A lot of them were like random basics and just things I saw at the store and was like, yeah, I want to buy a wrestling figure today. And that's what one of these was. And I had a bin of them that I've just been saving essentially because I didn't know what to do with them since I moved out of my parents' house where I lived when I first bought it. So I looked through that bin and I found this, and it was one that I still needed for this hunt. So I've had this for years, and just like in the last week found that I even owned it. So super excited, and an easy one to check off, like very easy to say that, you know, this is another one off the list. So excited about that. Cool little story there of, you know, I bought this when I was a kid. And it's been with me this whole time. It wasn't something that I sold or tried to trade or anything like that. I just had it in a bin sitting somewhere, and now he will forever live in my John Cena collection. So cool little story there. I like to have stories like that when you're collecting, because, you know, somebody comes over and asks you about it or whatever, you can always, you know, give them a few little tidbits about figures, and, you know, say, hey, this is what this one is and things like that. So that's a fun one to have that'll, you know, live in the John Cena collection forever. It's nothing special. It's just a basic figure. And back at the time, they were like $9.99 for a basic. So a poor high school kid with just a, you know, shitty part-time job wasn't too hard to afford a basic figure. So I did have a lot of those basic figures that I just bought because I wanted to buy a figure at the time. And, you know, and I've traded or sold some of them over the years, and somehow that John Cena just always stayed. So it's kind of like figure fate, if you will. But let's keep moving because we're doing a lot of talking. It seems like when we don't really have a lot of figures to go over, I guess, because there's nothing really special about a lot of these. But this is the next John Cena. This is from another Showdown pack. This is actually from, Showdown Series 2. So we had one of the most recent Showdown sets and then one of the earliest Showdown sets. But this is Showdown Series 2. This John Cena came in a 2-pack with Randy Orton. So Randy Orton was the one he was facing off against in that 2-pack. Like I said, this is from Series 2. Nothing special, just a basic figure. Virtually, like, still almost identical to the old one, or to the newer one. Obviously, the new one has updated joints in the hips, where the old basics have the older joints. But other than that, it looks almost identical. They may have updated his shoe mold in the more recent times, so his leg or bottom half of his leg mold may be a little different now. But other than that, it looks pretty similar. But yeah, this is the basic Showdown 2-pack with Randy Orton. He's got his orange and blue gear on there, so nothing too special to say here. I bought this new, so I have the Randy Orton around here somewhere. I think my son was playing with it, so God only knows where it ended up now. But I got this from J&J Collectibles. I've talked about them before. Cool place to get figures from. They always have discount codes. They always have new stuff. Basically, every Friday they add like Friday figure drops or something like that they call them. And they have a wide array of things that they drop on Fridays. This was one of those drops at one point that nobody snatched up, so it was just sitting on their website the whole time. And I bought something else. I can't remember what it was, but something else that was like a new release or something that I wanted that was new, and I just tossed this on there at the same time so I could get that John Cena crossed off the list. But last but not least, we have another bit of a weird one. This is Super Strikers Series 4. I don't even remember what the gimmick is. He goes like this, I guess. Yeah, it's like a punch. So like you pull his arm. There you go, like that way. I think it was with the legs. I was playing with this trying to figure out what the heck he did. But yeah, it's something with the legs, I think. Yeah, there you go. Where he like does this whole deal. Kind of a weird motion, if you ask me. Not really sure what the deal was with that, to be honest, but yeah, this is Super Strikers Series 4. I don't know a lot about the Super Strikers lines. I was not super big into wrestling figures at this point. So this was in the middle of like when I was in my high school days and nowadays. Obviously, I'm hot and heavy into buying wrestling figures and pretty much know most of the releases nowadays. But this was at a point, you know, I was in college and in an apartment and stuff like that. So I had a lot of other focuses on my mind where I didn't know a ton about these Super Strikers. But I think he might have a couple more as well. So we'll see more. But yeah, this is Super Strikers Series 4, John. This is another one I got from J&J. This actually might have come at the same time that the Randy Orton one did. So I might have just put all of these. I might have just bought their John Cena collection out at the time of like older figures. Obviously, they have pre-orders for newer ones and whatnot. But yeah, this is the Super Strikers Series 4, John. Nothing too crazy about this one. It's still basically a basic. I mean, it doesn't have any leg articulation other than the motion. And then it doesn't, you know, it has arm articulation in this weird chest, stomach cut. But yeah, that's Super Strikers Series 4. So that's another 6 figures down. This one was kind of, I don't want to say lame, because I got some cool figures and I got a cool story with the one figure and stuff. But it was very basic heavy, very weird heavy, I guess, with the wrecking issues and the issue trying to get the zombie and then this weird Super Strikers one. I still don't know how Mattel thought this was a great idea. Like the way he moves just doesn't seem natural, I guess. I don't know. But what a weird toy. It was obviously aimed at children and, you know, kids think it's cool to have the action feature and whatnot. But yeah, other than that, this has been another part of the John Cena collection, another 6 figures. I believe I have enough for one more video, maybe, and then we'll be all caught up with everything that I've purchased so far. But yeah, we'll keep pumping out some videos, hopefully. I'll try to keep mixing in stuff that's not John Cena. I know we had a point there where it was like 2 or 3 videos in a row where these John Cena collections. Like I said, I could do one more John Cena video if I wanted to and have it banged out and done, but I'll try to do some other stuff and keep you guys guessing, if you will, with different things. So yeah, but other than that, this has been Dylan with the next update for the John Cena collection, and I will see you all in the next one.